Hello, on schedule we're playing the game Montgomery Fox and the case of the revenge of Victor Draven. It was basically a continuation of the previous games. It was a beautiful sunny day. I met my friend, the chief of police. He looked worried. Monty, we have something very serious to discuss. What is this about? How can I help you? Last night there was a robbery in the museum. A very valuable painting was stolen. Do you have any clue who could have done it? Well, we know exactly who the thief is, but we better go to your office. I will explain everything to you there. Here's the picture from the museum, the surveillance cameras. You will see for yourself that the thief's face is clearly visible. But that, but it's me. How on earth? Look, Monty, I know you didn't do it. Someone's trying to frame you. Any idea who? I think I know very who it is. I will put in a good word for you with the judge, but my hands are tied otherwise. I'm afraid you're on your own in this one. My journalist friend helped me a lot. After talking with the taxi driver and the train driver, he managed to provide me with some sort of alibi for the night the robbery took place. I was granted parole for 48 hours by the judge. If I don't find the real thief by then, I will undoubtedly face a long prison sentence. I have a pretty good idea who set me up, but I have to prove it within these 2 days. There's no time to waste. The director of the museum was furious when he saw me, the thief on the loose, coming here and asking me questions unheard of. I explained to him that I still have my rights and that I am a private detective. The director softened a bit and said that the stolen painting was replaced by a new one by the young and promising painter William Paulson, who is not from around here. He turned away and went to his office. I noticed something strange. In addition to the rather elaborate suit he was wearing, a brand new and expensive gold ring was shining on his finger, and the belly was decorated with a beautiful gold pocket watch and on a chain. There was something wrong with that picture. In the courtyard of the abandoned factory, some kind of homeless man was hiding from the sun and heat. Thinking about thinking about the next step in this case, I thoughtlessly gave him some change from my pocket. Thank you, sir, he said to me very softly with impeccable diction. It's nice of you to support the art. I was already a long way when I realized what the homeless man said. The art? What nonsense. I checked it for you, my journalist friend told me cheerfully. Very interesting. Within a large radius, there's only one William Dawson. I don't know if this is the man you are looking for, but this one is the closest to you. Considering that your time is running out, it's better for you to go and see him right away. Although I don't understand what could he have to do with this case. My friend is right, but I still have to start somewhere. Good afternoon, I said to the stony faced old lady who opened the door for me. Yes, he said, and it is that one word there was surprise and disgust towards me. I would like to speak to Mr. Dawson. No, answered the woman shortly. What do you mean, no? Just as you heard, no means no. The gentleman is not feeling well. Visits are prohibited. It's about the painting that painting is in particular must not be discussed. It excites him and if it affects his heart, come back in a couple of weeks when he's recovered. The next thing I heard was the front door slamming and I knew there was no way this woman would open it again. I have to find another way to get to Dawson. At the customs, I found out that some painting was really cleared yesterday, but nothing more than that. I was interested in the address from which the painting was sent, but the custom officer persistently refused to give away that information. This might be a clue. On the, on the other hand, maybe I'm chasing a picture where two geese are standing next to a pond and listening to the grandmother telling them a fairy tale. I hope I am wrong, or that I'm right. It depends on how you look at it. Monty Fox, there is a celebrity in my inn. I was confused by this reaction of the owner of the inn. The man was simply delighted to see me. I'm a big fan of yours, he said. I keep all the newspaper clippings about you. Between us, I'm also a bit of a crime story writer. My specialty is potions, chemistry, and so on. And what are you working on now? Theft? Kidnapping? Murder? I didn't have the heart to disappoint this good man and tell him that I don't have time for his hobby. That's why I ordered lunch and quickly explained the case. A painting, huh? He said simply. Very interesting. Maybe I'll use that for one of my stories. Thinking about my next move, I ran into a circus. I haven't been in the circus for a long time. It was a small circus, cheap and dare I say miserable. I assumed that the entire troupe did not stand more than 5 men. I approached the man who was selling the tickets. "One ticket, please," I said excitedly. All this took me back in my childhood. The man looked at me as if he hadn't seen a ghost. He just stood there and looked at me with wide open eyes. "One ticket," I repeated. "My English is bad. Do not understand you speak." "Ticket for the show," I repeated. "I don't understand. Sorry, it's over. It doesn't work." He said all this, behaving more than strangely. Then he turns and runs in his little tent. A startled stranger, and I really wanted to rest my grey cells for a while and watch the man with a thousand faces show. Yup, a true lover and connoisseur of the art. The owner of the gallery addressed me condescendingly. "What interests you? Some sculpture, jade figures, tapestry, paintings?" "A painting," I almost shouted to interrupt him. We mostly have paintings. "What in particular? Did you send one to our museum 2 days ago?" I don't remember. We sent a lot of things to different addresses. "It's a new painting by William Dawson." The man looked at me as if I was mocking him. "Young man, but Dawson hasn't painted anything in 30 years." "How?" I didn't understand. "So Dawson himself is not quite 30 years old?" "Maybe we're talking about two different Dawsons, but the famous W. D. stopped painting a long time ago. He's been living with his sister after a nervous breakdown. My good man, Dawson, is 85 years old today." Thinking about this mystery related to Dawson, I wandered into Chinatown. I went out to ask for directions. The Chinese explained to me where I should go and said, "Don't trust that charlatan from the gallery. I made half of the art for him." "Did he offer you rare Chinese figures from behind the counter?" "He did offer me something like that. I have a box full of them in the attic. I don't know what to do with him. I'm a very skilled artist. I can do whatever you want." There was pride and vanity in his voice. "I had students. I thanked him and continued my way back. Was the gallerist lying about Dawson, and if so, why? I found the director of the museum in a slightly different mood. He was cheerful but still restrained when he saw me. Are you sure you know Dawson personally? I asked. Of course I am, frowned the director. A wonderful young artist. Young, you say? Yes, no more than 35 years old, and this painting of his is new. Absolutely, this last work, the painting is not older than 6 months. The director had enough of the questioning and hurried away. There was something new about him. A tailor-made suit of the most expensive fabric. The director suddenly had money to spare. That was obvious. At the train station, I checked if maybe some kind of painting had arrived by train, or maybe a package that perhaps looked like a wrapped painting. Unfortunately, I didn't find out anything. However, when I turned to leave, the station manager stopped me and said, I believe it is not important, but some wretched circus has recently arrived here, and the owner of the circus, I have never seen a more suspicious snout than him. The man with 1,000 faces? I asked. I'd rather say a man with 1,000 sins. I've seen all kinds of people in my theater, and I know how to recognize something when I see one. Or scumbag when I see one. The man with 1,000 faces, suddenly his thoughts started spinning in my head, like a circus carousel. Here's a little change for the art, I said to the homeless man. Thank you, sir, said the man. There was pride and calmness in his voice that can only be found in educated people. And you are an artist, I asked. I'm not. That is, I was. So what happened so terribly that you fell this low? A cliche as always. I was better than my employer and he couldn't stand it. Yes, I confirmed. That happens often. I did something I shouldn't have done, and I didn't even know I wasn't allowed to do that. My former employer cheated on me and took advantage of my talent. I lost my job after that. I felt sorry for this young man, but what could I say? Or what could I do? I don't have time to investigate everything myself. That's why I asked my friend to ask around a little more around about Dawson. Maybe he find out something that I missed. I only have information about Dawson that may not be correct. If only I could see him with my own eyes. But that woman, his sister or whoever she is, does a great job of keeping anyone from getting any closer than the front door. My investigation so far shows no progress, except for the couple of clues which could all be coincidence. A young man who is an old man, a painting that doesn't exist, between art dealers, a museum director who came up with some money, and yes, the man with 1,000 faces. Why can't I get rid of that thought? I timidly rang the bell after, afraid to look at the woman the gallerist claimed was Dawson's sister. She opened the door for me, and miraculously, she was much nicer than the first time. Is Mr. Dawson better today? I asked. He is, but he still doesn't receive visitors. Just tell me, did he ever have a student? This was a shot in the dark, thinking of the homeless man near the factory. Never. He just didn't know how to deal with young people. Isn't he young himself? You know how artists are, forever young. Now I understand absolutely nothing. I had to argue with the officer again. He said that their books were not for everyone's eyes and that I would need a warrant from judge in order to have a look at them, and that information is crucial. If the picture was indeed sent from Dawson's address, I'm just wasting my time trying to link a new picture of the loot. The museum director doesn't need to know what Dawson looks like. But if it wasn't sent from his address, then the museum director is lying, and that would be a promising clue. I just need to get the desired address information from the customs officer. Mr. Fox, what an honor. Now is the how is the case progressing? Mr. Fox, what an honor. What an honor. How is the case progressing? I explained to this good man that there was some small progress, but that it still had nothing concrete in my hands. He offered me a drink and I accepted it. I enjoyed talking with the simple minded man who had a very interesting hobby. I want to ask you, he said, if you would, when you solve this case, come to me and tell me everything you know. I thought I would dedicate one of my stories to you. I smiled at his proposal and promised I would. Oh, if only you knew how to sell me the story of how to solve this complicated case. For now, the story does like goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a detective who was going to spend a very long time in prison. For some reason, the circus was closed despite the large number of children who crowded in front of the ticket booth. No one was there. They called the owner, but he did not want to open the entrance. From the car, I saw him nervously pacing up and down in front of his trailer. He was scared or fumbling with his already old head. There was fear in his eyes. Who was this man so afraid of, or what? It all seems very strange. I noticed another detail. The canvas that was advertised, the man with 1,000 faces, had been removed. I wonder. Were you able to reach Dawson? Asked the art dealer. I still haven't, I replied. The woman whom you claim is his sister relented a bit and talked to me normally. However, I did not manage to find out anything. You told me that he is an old man. On the other hand, I hear that he is young. So you still don't trust me? Now I wonder. Unfortunately, people in my line of work aren't always the most honest. It's not that I don't believe you, but I have to see for myself. Some are more honest than others, and some just want to use other people's work. Who are you talking about? It wouldn't be professional for me to tell you that. I trust you're a good detective and you figure it out yourself. Now look, I want to ask. the old Chinese man about his student, but I ran into a closed door. There was a message on the window. Went to the circus. I'll be back in half an hour. I thought the circus wasn't working, and what if the Chinese and the circus owner have something in common? And that commonality is crime. Wait a minute, if what I think is correct, it looks like this case is starting to clear up. I still have more work to do though. My old friend, I need your help like never before. I burst into the office of my journalist friend. Just name it, Monty old boy. What should I do? At any cost, get an order from the judge to inspect the customs books. On it depends whether I will spend the next 15 years in prison or not. For God's sakes, Monty, haven't you found out anything by now? I found out something, but I need those books to be sure it's important evidence. Don't worry, the judge trusts you and he owes me a favor anyway. One warrant, more or less, it doesn't matter. Thank you, my old friend. I thought the customs officer would protest when I showed up with a search warrant. Still, he calmly handed over the books I was interested in and retired from his office. I began to frantically look through the columns, stuff for playing pool, posters, stamps in the album, pictures of ghosts, a book about time travel, fantasy, land playing cards, a crime novel, toys, gardening equipment, and beach towel. Ah, there you are. Oil on canvas, sent from an address I know. Now I know that the museum director must be lying. I've yet to find out why. Excited by this discovery, I decided to go to my favorite restaurant to freshen up and clear my mind. The man is quite chatty, but he serves the best coffee in town, and right now I need a strong coffee. When I entered, the owner greeted me with the same question again. How's the investigation going, Mr. Monty? There's some movement, I think. I'm on to something. Yes, he said, very complicated. If it was a question of poisoning or murder, so that a person has something to think about. In this case, only some kind of picture. There is nothing suspicious about them, except possibly that it's a forgery. And again, I wonder if it's time for me to retire. Monty, you're so slow. A forgery. This makes perfect sense. Young man, I already told you that Mr. Dawson does not receive visitors. No, no, madam. I just came to apologize for bothering you. You didn't bother us. We're just not ready for any visits. It's alright. Tell Mr. Dawson that I'm going to take a serious interest in art because of him. Really? That will make him happy. And that maybe I'll start painting myself. I have to ask you something, I said to the art dealer when I entered the shop. Yes? You told me the last time some people in your line of work sometimes want to take advantage of other people's talent. What exactly do you mean? You believe me now, Mr. Fox? Completely. In that case, here's a friendly tip for you. Go to my Chinese colleague and ask him about Mark Weber. Who is that? You just go and ask him about Mark. I believe some things will become clearer. The Chinese man began to act strangely, to say the least. Mark? What Mark? I've never heard or seen any such person. He whirled around the shop and started throwing the jade figures around the room. He almost hit me in the ear once. Sir, calm down. I just heard there was a young artist by that name. I wanted to inquire about him. I'd like to see of some of his work, that's all. I tried to calm the man down. There is no Weber. He does not exist, and please get out and don't come back. Is that so? From now on I will believe that there are nice people among art dealers, because now I know exactly who Mark is. Before I untangled this mess, I had to make sure of one more thing. I went to the circus and found it closed, and that's exactly what I was hoping for. I sneaked through the circus tent and went to the owner's trailer, the Man with a Thousand Faces trailer. It was full of masks, wigs, fake beards, and mustaches. All this was arranged on dolls that also had a company clothing. And guess it yourself, in one corner stood a mask that was a complete replica of me. The mask is there, the circus is empty, the rats are abandoning the ship, and I think it's time for me to close this case. Mark Webber, I presume? The young man looked at me completely confused. Yes, but how did you find out? A great injustice was committed against you, young man. You should have told me everything right away. I wanted to, but I was afraid that you might also work for Mr. Yang. You know, he threatened me that there was someone much more important and dangerous than him. Don't worry, you won't see Mr. Yang again, ever, and the police will take care of the other one. Thank you, Mr. Fox. Call me Monty. You're a painter? Yes, graduated from the academy. I started working for Mr. Yang until I get my bearings and find a normal job. I think that will also be solved. The important thing is that you have nothing more to worry about. Here is a key to my apartment. Go and get some sleep. I think there is some food in the fridge as well. Tomorrow you have a big day. What? What do you mean? Patience, my good man. Go now. I have only one more little thing to do. Well, this was a close call. However, I managed to return the picture, which in fact was not stolen. Here's what happened. The Ronford Daily. Famous private detective clears his name. Montgomery Fox managed after a painstaking investigation to return the stolen painting to the museum. The police arrested the director of the museum as well as the owner of the circus who, disguised as Mr. Fox and in collusion with the director of the museum, took out the painting. A Chinese art dealer who persuaded a young artist to paint a new one over a stolen painting is currently on the run. This cunning operation was supposed to condemn Mr. Fox, and according to him, was the work of a famous criminal Victor Draven. Mr. Fox has already thwarted Draven's plans once, and it is believed that this was supposed to be Victor Draven's revenge. The police are looking for Draven, but without success. The museum gets a new director, a young artist. Mark Webber was appointed as the new director of the museum. He thanks Mr. Fox for his help and promised that he will elevate the museum's content to a higher level. We wish him all the best. These 2 difficult cases in a row made me quite tired. I think I'm going to go on a well-deserved vacation. The only question is, where? Where would you go? So that was the game Montgomery Fox and the case of the Revenge of Victor Draven. The first playthrough was around 5.5 hours, so I recorded and edited to have it shorter. So thank you all for watching, wish you all well, like, comment, subscribe and follow me, and see you in the next video.